Hello, is this working? All right, let's do some pinning the comments to start us off. Live with the wonderful. Hi guys, are you joining? Is this working? Tell me now. How is everyone doing? Hello. Let me try and get this thing to work, girls. Okay. How do you do this? Right, 1 second. Right, I'm going to be going live with the incredible Ruby Hammer. So let me just pin a comment and we'll see if I can do this. All right. How is everyone? Hi. Let me see how to do this. I'm Googling the tutorial as we speak. Perfect. How is everyone? Hello. I've not gone live in so long. I've been off last year. Let's post this comment live. There we go. Hello everyone. Pin. How do I pin? Now. Oh no, I've done it. Oh, girl. A fabulous chat. Hey everyone. I'm just writing a comment. Bear with the wonderful. Now, I might put this on my EE instead of the Wi-Fi. We shall see how it works. How is everyone doing? Is this actually being told that I'm live? Maybe I should do a post. There we go. Right. Now, is that working? There we go. Hi, everyone. How is everyone doing? Are we all having a lovely Thursday? Now, this is going to be really weird for me because I've not been live on here for a minute. So has it changed since I was last here? I hope not. Hi, everyone. Right, let's try. I can see people are joining, but I don't know how. We'll see how this goes. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be going live with the incredible Ruby Hammer. I'm so excited, and this will be re-uploaded onto my YouTube. So if anyone that wants to follow up after, they can see it live there. I'm so excited about it because this has been a little bit in the making. We've been working on doing this interview for probably about a month now, and I was so excited because she's one of my makeup heroes, and it's definitely one that I wanted to do for a while. I've got a big list, so you guys know I do all the interviews on live. Now, why is this not sending out to people? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Are we not going out to people today? I don't know what's going on. We'll have to try and do a post. Let's do it from my iPad. But is everyone doing okay today? I'm very excited. Right. Perfect. Let's try this in a mo. Let's see if this is going to work. So what we're going to do today is going to be doing a chat, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully it goes very well because I'm super nervous but super excited to speak to the incredible Ruby Hammer today. It's going to be amazing. Now, have I pinned this correctly? This is the trick. Oh, I think it's working. Hello, Ruby. 1 second. Here we go. Wrong, I can tell. Did it work? Hello. Right, here we go. Accept.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm really well. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. How was your holiday period?
Our festive break was very, very chilled and laid back.
Oh,
For you, I know it might not have been like that because of why we got cancelled before, but is she all right?
yeah. So my mum was going to the attic to put away my little niece's birthday and Christmas presents because it's their birthday tomorrow and the day after. And the ladder actually fell down while she was on it, and she crossed down like over 30 feet. And we were just like all meant to be in London, and thankfully I got a cancelled train. So I was here to take care of her. But it's been 31 and a half days of injecting her and things with blood thinners and just getting her back to normal, but she's fine. We went and took her cast off yesterday, so Thank God we're here.
All I can say is, thank God it happened 31 days ago because she would have been seen. If
Oh,
it happened now with all our junior doctors on strike and whatnot, maybe she might not have been looked at. And you know what? So I always say in life, at the time, you never think, oh my God, what's happening? Why me? Woe is me. This is that. But just take a beat and then you realize whatever's happened has happened because it had to happen, has happened.
yes.
And then you look at the good side of it after.
I
So
know, and I just thank God she didn't hit her head. Like, I can't believe she fell. She fell forwards. And then somehow the ladder twisted and she fell on her foot. So it was a miracle because it could have been so drastically worse. How is my connection doing? How is
I think it's okay, but I don't know. I can hear you clearly. I can see you. I can't see my face clearly because all the chat is going on in front of my
well,
face. But
well,
you
thank you.
gorgeous as ever. You
Oh
look
my God.
so
Thank you. Thank you. So do you.
handsome.
Thank
Well,
you.
my
Thank you.
things before we start because I'm not versed with how I should refer to you. I think of you as Joseph or Joe, but I don't want to offend anybody, and I certainly don't want to offend you. So,
Oh no, I'm so old in this that I'm not offended by anything. I call myself far worse things than anyone else could. No, I'm just Joe or Jojo. Today I've got a beard, and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
so it's also my age. Like you try to be hip and you try to be with it, but I am of a certain generation, and we get things wrong. So it's not
Oh,
mean to, but I would rather not do it so that people know if it comes out the wrong way, it's not because I mean to. It's just the way it is.
I'm
I'm an old.
not, like I grew up and I looked like a girl naturally from like a very early age, and I was never. I just thought of myself like a unicorn. And I was before all the discussion around pronouns and around gender identity. So it's like I just think of myself transient, like an angel.
And that you are. That you are.
Thank you.
You
So
are.
thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me and coming onto my interview series because you've been on my list for so long. Because when I first started to play with makeup, when I was really like, this is now like 19, 20 years ago, I had no reference point. There was no internet information, even like tutorials were very sparse. There wasn't information to learn from. And then I discovered 10 years younger, which you were on.
My claim to fame. One of my claims to fame. Yes.
Yes, and but you were one of the most like there was QVC and there was 10 years younger, and sometimes on This Morning where you could actually see professional makeup artists teach about how to apply makeup, and it was like, oh my God, someone actually telling me the secrets I can now learn. So thank you because you're one of my inspos.
Do you know what? It's really funny because when you're doing it, when it was a process of doing it, I remember, like, I don't know how much you know about how TV programs come about. I didn't know that much. All it was I did quite a few little things. I did like Close Show, which was one of the first times I was on TV. And I remember go to them and I took my portfolio and they were sort of just flicking through and flicking through and flicking through. And I was like, oh, they don't like me. They're just asking. And they said, can you do false eyelashes? And I was like, yeah, of course I can do false eyelashes and eyeliner. You have to think it's in the 80s when it was MAC, when it was Frank Toscan was alive, you know, like who was the founder of MAC with his
Yeah,
other partner, Frank. And it was all very matte. And it was these eyeliners, light, and then stark, and then those sort of beigey, camely lip. So they were asking me all this, and I said, yes, yes, of course. And I was thinking, have I not got it in my book or something? And then they said, no, we love your work. What we mean is you're going to have to, can you do this live when we're filming it? And I was like, what? And I'd never ever done that before. And it was somewhere, it was like some shopping centre in Birmingham or somewhere like that. So we all had to go, and then it was in this thing, and they grab hold of someone, and then they'd say, that's going to be your model, and then this is what you have to apply. That look that is in the shows, you have to do on this person quickly. But you've got to realise you're doing it live, and it's being filmed, and then you have to figure out, if I just put my head in front of someone, all they're going to see is the back of my head. They're not going to see what I'm doing. So you learn
it's
how the
performative.
side. Well, I've never done that, you know, and talk. So you have to you can't just think, oh, they can see what I'm doing. You have to sort of express it. So by some weirdness, or it's a knack that I discovered and they discovered that you have, Ruby. And I was like, they went, oh my God, that was brilliant. So then they wanted to audition me to be a presenter.
Okay.
Took me to some brewery somewhere. It was a director, it was a lovely gentleman, Roger. And then, you know, when the camera's just in front of you, no tours, not doing what I know, I was just, he said, Ruby, where's the Ruby that was there last week? Because you were doing, and I said, because I'm not trying to be a presenter. I can always do my stuff. I can't stand and talk about a brewery that this is, and all that. And like, can we call you back for the makeup sections if and when we have them? But it means we can't have you on every week. And I was like, absolutely. And that's how it started. So then we did something called Star Challenge. Then things like on Lorraine or This Morning, filming live, all of that, to then come to 10 years younger, which at that time I knew I was working on a brand, Ruby and Millie. No one else knew, I knew, and I was thinking, if this hits off, because it was a pilot, it was me, and I think I can say, because it was Nikki Clark.
Yeah.
And they said to Nikki, oh, Ruby will only do it if it's you, Nikki. And then they called me and then they said to me, oh, you know, Nikki will only do it if it's you. So, but they don't know that we know each other well enough to actually get in touch. And he said, and I said, what do we do? And I said, if you're not doing anything, Nikki, let's just go and have a go. And we just did it. And it was somewhere in Harley Street. And Nikki came and did her bit. We did her bit. We did whatever we could. And then you didn't hear anything because it's a pilot. You don't know whether you're going to get the go ahead or not. And we got the go ahead. And I knew I should do it because it was 8 o'clock on a Thursday night or something. And I knew that we couldn't buy that sort of publicity.
No.
If you brand, are you going to afford all of that? And I just thought, I'm going to do that. And every once in a while, just the fact that I'm there, it means they will associate it with a brand. You get something, and that's how it took off. Then we got commissioned to do 6, but Nikki didn't go ahead with it because they needed salon services. He was a big star at the time. He couldn't come in, you know, get here at 5 o'clock in the morning, do this, do that, film this, and then you've got to do other bits. There were bits. So then Andrew Barton, my dear friend, came on there, and then we were the team. So there was Nikki, Andrew doing hair, me doing makeup, and they had Lundosla, so it was Surinder doing the teeth, and Jan Stanek. But it was meant to be 10 years younger in 10 days.
Oh.
It wasn't the way it has, because so in 10 days, we had to take off 10 years if we could, using our skills. But then you had all these American shows across the pond that were surgery and doing that. So then it morphed. So, but first it was short things, getting a bit of veneer, getting a bit of this, getting a haircut, getting a bit of dental work. And then it became more and more. We took it on. I did a lot of seasons. And then telly being telly, they want new fresh blood. And then I think they had Lisa Eldridge later on the latest batch. I think it was Hannah Martin or whatever, but you know, it's my legacy from the first one, not doing anything. And it is telly, and they just want that bit of it has to be engaging, it has to be interesting to their mother. But I remember thinking, these people are going to be in front of millions of people. We don't have to make them feel like shit. They're already bearing their souls. So I would always say, what is it you want to achieve? I'm going to do it in my way without making them look or feel shitty.
I remember watching them. I used to film it, rewind it, and then study the makeup because I think you had like the Kryl and Dermacolor creams in the palettes, which
I still have it. It's the mini ones because you've got lots of shades.
Yes.
You can match it up because they're filming like they haven't got time to be digging around and getting it out. Can I stop filming? You just literally have to have things on there that I knew professionally worked. I had to work sideways, and then I'd have to say to them at some point, I've just done that eyeliner, but there's a blind. Can I just fix that? Otherwise, people will be watching and thinking I'm a shit makeup artist, that I've just missed here, I've missed there. But you get good at doing it, you know, like
Yes.
whatever. But also to say, before you finish up, I need to have 2
Yeah.
minutes that I can see that the woman, I'm in front of her with not worrying about the flipping cameras, that is it even? Have I done these things? All the things I'm saying, I need to make sure it is like that. Okay, go and do it. But even then, Joseph, it wasn't, they were a fantastic team. They were. I always talked to them and made sure there was good light. But you know what? It might not have been if I hadn't befriended them to say to the lighting cameraman at the time,
Oh,
make sure.
yes.
Because if she's up like that and you see a bit of sheen or twist it around, can I do that? So it can, so if somebody's trying to learn, that they get the best angle. They
Yes.
get thing. Otherwise, they don't care. You have to tell that to the cameraman, and bits of where you do cut out. So you lift things and then you put them back down. Slowly, I've learned how to do that. That you don't just
Yes.
like that and you're jerked off, you know, like you have to come, make sure it's like, put the lid on so they see it, playing with it, then it goes on. It's all cheating to make it look nice, but also to know I did it right there. Can you grab it there? It's not up there, it's down there, right in the bottom. And you have to befriend your crew, your cameraman. And also I don't know, are you left-handed or
I'm
right-handed?
right-handed.
So I'm right-handed too. So when you're filming with somebody, you know that
Mm.
they'd put the lighting and they'd film that side, and I'd have to say, I can't stand there, and
Yes.
you can't do it. So
Yes.
do these kind of things to sort of help us along, and know that then I'm comfortable, and then we can get that message through. But that is my claim to fame, because we did editorial. I did so much magazine work and campaigns and fashion shows and all that. But the telly gets your face known. So whenever I was in a department store, if I'm in Selfridges or Harvey Nichols or Harrods, there'd be people that knew who they were because they put you in context. I'm not a movie,
Yes.
they don't know me anywhere else. The other strange thing was they'd find you on duty free because products are there, and you'd be in those, and they'd say, you're that her, aren't you? You look awful like her, because at least I'd be made up a little for telly. But when I'm going on a shoot to travel to Spain or going, once I nearly missed a flight from Marbella because this woman grabbed hold of me. What Lancome stuff should I have from here? And I was like,
Oh God.
you, and it's not like Instagram where you can direct message now and they can find you. And
Yes.
she dragged me, and I said, my plane is going. She was like, no, until you tell me this. And I had to find her a sales assistant and say, can this woman deal with you? Because I am going to miss my flight.
That was the benefit of me wearing the wigs in all my videos, because once the wig was off, I could be invisible again.
So, but I'm not going to do all of that. But it gave me a nice platform. It made two things. One is I was a woman of colour. They didn't see many Asians at that time on the box. Now you do. Thankfully, you do. You see of all kinds of, you know, there is a bit more inclusivity. There's a bit more diversity. It didn't exist at the time. I didn't think of it like that. I just did what I did.
Yes.
Now, like you're saying, 20 years later, that I actually see, oh my God, what I did and continue to do did have a bearing. It did impact someone.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'm proud of that. I am enjoying that more now than at the time, because when you're busy doing it, you
Mm-hmm.
don't think about it. You don't think of what the consequences might be or not. I didn't set out to be some sort of role model. It just happened. But also, I didn't just do it once. I did it my whole entire career. I would do it because I set a certain standard for myself and my work. I was a jobbing makeup artist editorial. If I was going to be way bigger, I could have done what Pat Di Kendall, and those people, they either went to Paris or they went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I take away their creativity and their artistry because they are magic makeup artists. But they worked in a team, you know, Pat with Eugene, Di with maybe somebody else, or like somebody else with Guido, and you know, like Sam and Mary.
Yeah.
There are all these teams and their photographers. If I was happy, and people must remember I was married and had a little girl, even in my assisting days. So
Well, how did you start? How did you start in this beauty world?
I was never going to be a makeup artist. I never knew that was a career path. Didn't know.
Wow.
I just loved makeup because my mum was a young woman. She had me at 17.
Mm-hmm.
And in Africa, growing up there, we used to have no TV, nothing. So it was just every night in the open air, we'd watch a Bollywood movie or Charlie Chaplin and Abbott and Costello and those kind of things, all cartoons, you know. So whatever they played at night, we'd watch. But Africans, Russians loved. They can't speak the language, but subtitles. They love the music. They love the song.
Mm-hmm.
Russians loved it because it was all about working hard and having certain values. Your mother, your father, hardworking, be, you know, like whatever. Russians loved the music. They had so many film festivals there that they won, and Africans loved the music. You turn on the radio, they'd be playing James Brown 1 minute, and then it would be like the latest Indian Bollywood. She's singing in the rain, and romance between the trees, singing it. I don't understand a bloody word of what they're saying.
My mum's partner's from Lagos, so he's been giving me all the tea. Yeah.
They still love it.
Yes.
They now that it's all, you know, ZTV and Sony Pictures and whatever. So now it's all like us, Sky, Netflix, this one, that one.
So what was makeup stores like then? Because there's obviously like whenever I speak to my mum's partner about like these Nigerian beauty stores, and he looks at like the white hair and the difference in the way that, because every kind of makeup region was so isolated. And I remember growing up in England when the Dream Matte Mousse phenomenon was out, that horror. And then I went to Tokyo when I was 17, and I saw white foundations, and I thought, oh my God, so they've got white foundations in Asia and all these incredible different peeling jellies and skincare. We didn't even have anything like that, or even an awareness of that. Or even if you looked at like Mac, who always bought these collections out, there would be an Asian version of the collections, which were Hello Kitty, which never arrived here. And I think like that like has become so global now. Everything's kind of merged in a way that it wasn't before.
This what's amazing, the fact that we've got e-commerce and the fact that we've got social media and the internet and just this vast array of knowledge. So now you can Google something and get it into. When I was learning, the only way, because I'm self-taught, I haven't gone to a school, there was either you'd go to BBC, but then you'd become a BBC, you know, it'd be those dramas.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it away from any of that, and I'm not belittling it, but I'm just saying I wasn't going to just do the makeup for newsreaders.
Yes.
I wanted to. Where do I get to learn that? It was only BBC, or it was London College of Fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the numbers that could get in there were like 50. How are you going to get in there? They're full all the time. The only other ones were something, I think there was something called Complexions. So there were private makeup schools.
Yes.
One of the other ones was Glauca Rossi, he's here in Maida Vale, near where I live. And she trained, you know, people like Charlotte Tilbury, Lisa Eldridge. But it was either like that or not. Or you have to, for me, I learned by assisting.
Mm-hmm.
I was assistant. I fell into it by fluke after university, and I assisted for about 2.5 years. But as I say, I was already married and had a little girl, and built up my portfolio. And the lady would take the higher paid jobs, and I got the lesser ones that was still more money than I'd ever seen for earning, you know, like in a commercial or in a show, or a job that she was going to get better job, and she'd go, Ruby, you can do that one. And I'd be like, yep. So you build up your portfolio, you shoot, you test, and gradually I thought, oh my God, I'm going to need an agent because I can't keep track of. And it's not, again, like internet, you've not got email, you have to at the end of the shoot day, you have to go and pick up the phone at 5:45 to ring in to say, what's the details of my next job? Am I working tomorrow? Am I not? You know, it was like that. So I found, at least if you find an agent, you can ring them and they give you the date. Tomorrow, you're going to be in here, so we have to have pen and paper, get the address. You have to have, there's no Uber, there's no taxis, there's nothing. You just get A to Z, and either you go on the tube and you find it, or you get a taxi if it's far away and you find it. And look how life has just, now you don't need an agent. If you've got a nice portfolio, put it on Instagram, you can be your own website, you can get your own, it's all kinds of things that I would have never imagined. But our industry, and it's not just our industry is a reflection of life, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that like everything's become smaller, but also the gatekeepers have kind of been removed, because I remember when I first started and I was presenting like feminine every single day, and then I'd go to one of even the social media portfolio agencies where they would manage all these creators. They would want me to look like a boy even 10 years ago. So there was still some sort of like, I had to figure out a way to pivot and work around it. But I did everything in my career completely self-managed, because I was determined and inspired by people like you. But one thing I was going to ask you about, because I remember when I was watching you do makeup, you work in a very sort of kinetic way, like you use fingers and the heat of the hand, and it's not like painting a canvas, it's more feeling. And I wanted to know, like, was that because you just worked instinctively? Like, how did that all come to be?
It's a mixture of two things, because it's also who you assist.
Yes.
There's a whole range of makeup artists. Like now, say I go to a press event, say someone like lovely, gorgeous Cicely, or whoever. There's some lovely clients out there, and you know they have product launches, and we go. So I see people like Alex Babsky, I see Adam De Cruz, I see Hannah Martin, I see this one, I see that one. Oh, if I've left out any names, guys, you know I so you're all in there. But you go and you chat. They've assisted Pat McGrath, and some of them have assisted Val Garland. They're two goddesses out there in our sphere today. Yes, goddesses. Did I get the opportunity to? Pat was more of a contemporary, so by that time I was already had a brand, and if I could get my products Ruby Amelia in Pat's hands to do on a shoot, I was already laughing. Could I then go and ask, can I be your assistant? It's not going to happen, is it? When I'm already working, I have a family, it's not going to happen. And Val, I didn't have the chance. I've met her later in life, not in the time in the beginning. But they learned a certain way, and so Pat is more finger, Val's got brushes. I didn't learn any which way, so I realised by myself, because you do on yourself first. What I first did was magazines. You look at the magazines, and I used to work in Harrods from the age of 16 as a sales assistant, my Saturday job. And it meant I could have a discount. So it meant I could go there and buy magazines once a month, you know, look through, flick through, and buy products. So Bieber, Stage Light, Miners, whatever was up there, I could buy with a bit of discount. And then I'd look at the pages. Oh yeah, she's blonde and dark haired. Okay, but it doesn't matter. I can see that kind of color, and then I'd have to match it for me. So some of that is fingers, is brushes. Mum, I need some brushes. Well, you've got brushes. You bought some last week. Yeah, but they were cheap, and I can't. I didn't know where you go and buy professional makeup. I didn't know that. You just so it's a sponge applicator, it's your finger. And then later, when I assisted, I realized, oh my God, I can go to Charles Fox. Professional. Oh, sure, Mora, but you have to go to Paris. Okay, when I'm on a trip to Paris, buy the one, two, and other ones. That's how you learn. Oh, a sponge works, doesn't it? Oh, when it's working on people, it's unhygienic. Yeah, we have to chuck those away, so we have to get disposable one. You know, that wasn't beauty blender in those days that you could, you know. Oh, I'll go to a drugstore in America, and then you can buy a bucket load of them for $5. And you buy as many as you can to know that, okay, I
do it with Bioderma and the pharmacies in Paris. You couldn't get them here.
You know, and then you throw away, and you you dispose of and you learn, and then you know that, no, I have to buy the best brushes I can because I clean them this way, I keep them this way. And so it is a mixture, because I know that your fingers do have heat. It disperses, it dispenses less product. A brush can be smoother. A sponge for me is the control, because you're either depositing a lot of product or you're diffusing it. So you need a mixture of that, depending on the look. Like I remember in the 80s when we did them, and it was Kevin O'Corn, the big makeup artist, he would literally he would obliterate people's features and then put them back how he wanted to.
Yes.
Depending what he wanted to do. Now that's a unique, amazing skill. I'm different in that way, in that I'm always inspired by the person that sits in front of me, man, woman, whatever they are. I do what they are, so I don't totally try and take it away, but it's using the brief that I've been given, but working with what's in front of me. I've always done that. I wouldn't have known that until now, having done it for 40 years. I think, oh yeah, that's what I do. You know,
my God.
Like yourself, asking questions, podcasts, people in interviews, then you realise, you know, or if somebody said to me, what's your unique thing that you do then, Ruby? I wouldn't have been able to answer that 25, almost 30 years ago. I just think, oh, I do makeup, you know, I do the best I can. Now I realise, no, I spent a lot of time prepping the skin.
Yes, exactly.
I did. So what did I do then? Can I work with colour? Yes, of course I can. Did you do this? Yes, of course I can. I liked skin. So I spent as much time prepping it, and now I know that that's become a bit of my signature. Like Pat, about, she's an artist, you know, like whatever, graphic lines for other people, this and that. And we all have to now, you can't just do one skill. You have to have a bag of tricks. Well, I had those, but now I know that my unique thing was I used to make skin look real.
Perfect and glowing.
Glowy, and you have to remember we were working with Polaroids, and it's not digital. I didn't know how it would read until after the film came back, and they would see and they go, oh, that was gorgeous, Ruby, that looked lovely. And I realised, okay, I must remember what I did then. So this is what I do in daylight. That's what I've got to do in the studio. That's what I've got to do on location, in a hot atmosphere, in a cold atmosphere. I went on trips to like Greenland and not Iceland, Greenland and wherever. So I knew that it was freezing cold. I knew then the creams and makeup I would use should be more oil-based, not water, because if you put water on, they would have just frozen on your skin. They would have given you pictures. So you get to know that. Knowing when you go to Kenya and Sri Lanka in the most humid, I've got to use some oil-free bases. If I do a cream blusher, I've got to keep an eye on it because it's going to melt before. I love the way it feels, but I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. And after 4 rolls of film, I'm going to have to go in there and repowder lightly somewhere to stop it smearing and she looking like a grease ball. I want it shiny, but not. We learned, or I learned, on the job.
Trial and error.
That's the only way. That's the only way I learned. So those are my shortcomings, and they're also my positive skills, because that was the academy of learning, you know.
I completely understand. Like when I started with makeup, I was very much like a meticulous painter, and I would do the most illustrative graphic styles. And around 2015, I actually was in an incident and I lost my eyesight in my left eye, and I couldn't see. Yeah, I couldn't see for a year and a half in my left eye. It was atrocious to go through. But I couldn't do the makeup anymore, and I couldn't use the articulate brushes and the way that I would illustrate. So I had to then kind of get over my perfectionism and start using my fingers. And at that time, I was doing a coffee table book where I was taking all the RuPaul Drag Race girls out of drag and making them look like real models. So taking like a drag queen that's got like a male face at most occasions and then making them look like soft editorial with fingers instead of this thick pancake makeup. It was like a masterclass with that, but I had to go back and think like, you were one of the examples that I was using of people, Mary Greenwell, of how to use your fingers. Like, and when I saw Pat do a lip with her finger, because I watched her do it live, and I was like, oh my god! So the perfectionism sometimes you have to go through like lessons with makeup where you just do something goes wrong for you to realize it doesn't have to be perfect to be right.
Exactly. And in some ways, I'm quite I'm not super fast, but I'm reasonably fast. And what that was came from a fear that if the client or the photographer or somebody came and I've done it, I've finished now and she's ready to go, and they looked at it and they didn't like it, I still had time to wipe it all off, and I got time to send her out there, because I don't know, like, so you could
Yes.
wipe it, you could blend it, you could do your thing. Oh, okay, that's a bit too much blush. And I was thinking, have I got to? No, if I just do my fingers, I can lessen it. And then just with fingers to know that you can push it and you can get a pouty, and then to go make a big and then
Yes.
you so with your fingers, because if you're doing it and there's somebody right on there, hurry up and watch it, and you start to get jitter, you think you're strong, but you're not.
Yes.
Somebody's watching, I'm going to be all just, so that's why your finger was easy. You could soften and you could push it, and then when you look back, you think, oh my God, that effect of just a blown slight lip, a texture, is nice. So then that becomes a technique
Yes, exactly.
to using a lip brush to get it really precise or change the symmetry of what you wanted. But if somebody had beautiful lips like you've got,
Oh,
you've got big,
thank you.
you've got amazing features, really great
Thank you.
lashes, you've got bones, you've got this. So if somebody was big and lush lipped, you think, God, I don't have to waste time. I could just go like that and go,
That's how
there you go.
I do it. I always over push it over the edge.
Then you go. And then I say to girls, sometimes I say pout, and they go, and then you can push it. They go, what? And I'm like, honestly, it looks silly, but it's not. Just
Trust the lips.
push it, and you can get that bit of a lush, plumpish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how did you move from actually doing makeup to working with all these incredible brands? Like, I know you had a history with Aveda. Like, when did it move to
It's,
these
you know,
amazingness?
the weird thing is, there's no game plan, and everything in one's life is an evolution. Look at what you've just said yourself, and then you had such a horrendous thing that you had to cope with, and you coped it. Now you brought it back, and your sight has come back in that
Thank
eye.
God.
And then now you've got this additional skill of I can use my fingers and I can paint like this. It just, so this is that. So the person I married was in the rag trade. He's called George Hammer, and he then, when we were married for ages, and then from the rag trade, he had a ladies' health club called the Sanctuary, and from that they went on to fitness and other things. So then, when he finished with all his business partners, I influenced him with beauty, I guess, like in there. And at that time, this is how we became the UK distributors for Aveda. Solely us. We bought it over from America. I knew it, and I said, he was like, well, what do I do here in the Sanctuary? And I said, it's not the days of Falgo and those beauty that was always either French or it would be like sort of American or and I was like, it's not the day. You've got to look at something beyond now. People want more natural or organic or something. So we would pester Aveda saying rotten. They weren't interested. They were in Minneapolis, St. Paul. They weren't interested. Kiehl's, not interested. Things like that. But eventually we met Horse by chance and we took on that. So when you work in that, so he became a beauty entrepreneur. So he was the brains behind the marketing and like the business. I was the doer. So I could work because I knew those brands, I knew the products. And then Millie Kendall was doing our PR.
From the British Beauty Council.
So from that, we launched many beauty brands like Teresa Mann and L'Occitane and Mr. Mascara. And that's how, it's not, you don't set off like that. It started off with me being a makeup artist. So you get to use, PR, send you stuff. And I think, oh my God, this is brilliant. And then George would be like, have they got a distributor? Have they got distributor, and if they haven't, then he would reach out to them, and then we would distribute them. And then, you know, we had this magazine called Boutique that had all things in there. And then there was a wonderful Anna Marie Solovich, who was like she was the beauty assistant at Elle magazine when I first met her. Eventually she became beauty director of Vogue, but one of the first people, and I've got to say this here, is my Karen Callan. She was a beauty director. That's who first gave me my editorial, you know, beauty for Elle to shoot, to give my, you know, so it was her. So all these people, you know, you get to learn. And she'd go, Ruby, do you know of this brand? I said, no, I don't get hold of it. She goes, oh, I'll get the PR to send it to you. And then you use it. Then you distribute them or not. So it just, these are all stepping stones. And then I sort of trained loads of makeup artists. For like Yves Saint Laurent had this thing called visagistes, and I trained them. Estee Lauder had these round eyeshadows they called CDs, you know, like, and I had to train over a week all their sales assistant in the UK, because they'd have to take 2 away from Glasgow, 2 away from here, on a roster. So you get to know how I was front of house, but I got to learn how back of house works.
Yes.
I wasn't always the front of things. And then you'd go on telly and you'd be able to say, well, I've got these CDs. Should we use those on 10 years younger? You know, these ones, that would be lovely, these colours, or that would be earmarked for that. And the PR is very grateful to have sent you that, because you're now putting it on telly.
Oh my God,
so
I love those old Estee Lauder products.
there's synergy from all the brands, and you get to realize, oh my God, there are effects to do this, to do that, to do the other. How do you create? How do you, until it came to Ruby and Millie, which you get like super PhD in learning what the industry gives you from manufacturing. So not just, oh, I've just got it now, I'll just PR this, to know the minimum order quantities, to go to the labs, to get the submissions.
Absolutely.
What you say. So slowly, I have had doors open, but I've had to learn. It didn't just, oh, today I'm just going to I'm stepping out the back and I'm just going to be the front. No.
Yes, I know. It's when you work hard, you have to take all the jobs. You say yes to everything. You learn on the go.
You know, like when I assisted, I remember I wasn't paid much, but I don't care. She gave me training, which is worth its weight in gold. But I later learned that when I have assistants, I'm going to make sure they're paid.
Yes.
So their fares are taken care of, that they're fed, and then here's a little bit, and I negotiate the most I can for them. It could be 100, but they're not coming for nothing.
That's something that's so unregulated, isn't it?
And I thought I was all right that I was married by then, and I had a bit of money to take a taxi or to go on the tube if I didn't have a big kit. But all of these assistants, you know, so I've always thought about that and I remember, you know, they'd say, oh yeah, we'll give you cash on the day. So you say you're doing a show and got 6 assistants, say it's 50 quid a go, 75 pounds a go, 100 pounds a go, and I'd be waiting there, and they'd go, oh Ruby, yes, yours is invoiced. And I was like, well, that wasn't part of the deal. Where my agent has invoiced for me, can I have those envelopes please? And no one's going anywhere until these people have been paid. And I did it in a very nice way, but they knew, and my assistants saw that I didn't just go, all right guys, see you later, leave you to fight off how you're going to get your money. I thought, no, we've got to get that for them. We've got to be fed.
Yes.
Not me, they need a cup of tea or a thickened sandwich. It's not just the models, and it's not just the celebrities. We're working. Hello?
Absolutely. And it's so expensive.
Come on, guys, be really fast, but get what you can. And people would look at me, and I'm like, the hairdressers team would then learn, oh, Ruby takes care of her makeup lot. And I'd say, grab it fast, guys. Go and grab it, but at least you've got something and you can munch away. Don't waste time. I would be strict with them too, but like, don't be lazy and angry now. Like, couldn't you have found another time to eat? You had to do it now. But I would say to them beforehand, grab what you can, make sure you're fed, make sure you've got a drink, make sure you've got your money, and here's your, this is extra, this is your fares, you know, your transport, and then this money is for the work you've
Oh
done.
my God, there's like that is so like important because I think a lot of people that aspire to be makeup artists don't really understand how expensive it is, and to put together a kit is a small fortune, really. Like I remember when I had to start, I used to mix everything from powders, and I didn't even know about Charles Fox and all these incredible brands that would stock like these amazing things, like Mac when they still did like the big pigment pots and all the hyper real back in the day. Like that was my apothecary. I used to sneak in there at 14 and say, "Can I have some more samples?" And I'd slowly like build up this sample pot collection of things, and that's how I really dived in. But I remember when Ruby and Millie was out, and all the see-through and kind of like you could twist things, and
Yeah,
it was things that you
yeah,
could use in multi ways.
exactly. But that was the artist influence. But also, Millie came from a background, she launched Shiomura in this country. So it was all very Japanese and it looked amazing and they had amazing formulas. So when we were making them, we pushed Boots, our lab, to say, well, I can't just have what you have so far.
Yes.
Right? I need you to move. Come on, are you guys not proud to excel a little bit of your craft? I'm not a cosmetic chemist. Don't you want to do it? There was one eyeshadow, it was a blue eyeshadow. It was called Blue 65 or something like that because it took that many attempts, submissions.
Okay.
They probably hated us, but and they did. But you know what? I'm honest. When they created in the end that blue, I said, "Don't you feel proud? I know you hated me and Millie and that, but look at what you've created. Because that's not me. That's me prodding you and poking you. But you
Right.
get that in a Boots palette, in a Ruby palette that is now used in this fashion show by Pat McGrath, by Di Kendall, by Linda Cantello, by these people. Hello. Are
Yeah.
you not proud? I'm proud for you. You should be proud. You know?
Well, that leads me to asking you about your new range, which I'm so excited. I've actually got some bits here. I've got these, which I love. My 5-year-old niece, about to be 6, saw the magnetic brush and she went, "Oh, Jojo, can I have that?" And I was like, "Okay, you can have it," because she loved it. She loved playing with them and pulling them apart and using them.
On air now. Anything you need from my brand, and it's not a
Oh,
brand like Ruby and Millie used to be. It's a smaller brand. It's a very edited brand. Please call our PR. We're at the tape
yes.
agency and just replenish because when you're doing
Thank you.
you're doing shoots, when you're doing filming, you need one for you because that's our
Yeah.
job, and you need one for your kit. All right?
Yes, I do. Yes,
I'm
thank
not
you.
going to force it on you. I want you to look and have what you want. I want to in your kit with all, by all means, call it in. That's
Oh,
what.
thank you so much, Ruby. Thank you. But I love everything that I've tried, and it goes back to that idea of play, beauty of play. Like one thing that I love, because I'm still a bit dodgy with my eyes, but when I'm actually, because I've got big old giraffe eyes, goblin eyes,
Lovely eyes, yeah.
but you can do it's a long tip, and a lot of them are very short and unstable, but this flows with your eyes, and it's become my staple. I love it.
Well, you're going to need to replenish that, aren't you? The one kit won't be the one itself. So
Yes.
call in and enjoy using. Now, that's because I'm the artist. I know
Yeah.
bits. The eyeliner, the liquid one, I use at work, but it's
Hmm.
really hard for me to do on myself because I use the little pencil. I use that little one more on me,
Hmm.
but I can do because I need a huge magnifying. My hand when I'm doing it because I'm short-sighted and long-sighted. You know, don't get old, Joseph. But this is what
I'm
happens.
trying not.
And I do a bit and then I do a wonky one here and I'm like, oh God. But when I'm doing it on someone, I just put my glasses on and I do it. So I know this is brilliant. And on me, I need to have a few Q-tips and then I can do it. But I'm not just saying it. I know it works for all
Yeah.
the out there. It works for women who are eyeliner freaks, you know. Some don't go out without putting it on. The person that works with me on my brand is an eyeliner freak. She doesn't go out without putting it on. So I know if she likes it and I use it on a shoe, great product. And I'm not just saying it. Look, business is business. Tomorrow, I could go bust. But whatever I've created, they're good products. I'm proud of them. Like I was about Ruby and Millie.
Yes.
I'm proud of this little edited version, and I'm proud, and I'm glad people like yourselves love that. And it's not like huge range like Fenty, and then we have to thank her for widening that door to making it even more than a Bobbi Brown did, and even more than a MAC did. And you know what? They busted a lot of doors,
yes.
the MACs and the Bobbi Browns of the world, when Bobbi was involved.
Yes.
And she's doing it now in Jones Road,
yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
So you must give credit where it's due, and then look for the new people to pass it on. One of my things is we've got to pass on that baton, and not just once. You don't do a relay race once. You keep running the race and you keep passing it on. So if someone like you, who was inspired by me that long ago, and now you're it, and you doing it, I've passed it on to you. And now you're saying in your work and in your bit of whatever it is you are good, the reach that you get through to your Instagram or your TikTok or your whatever it is you're doing in whichever field, you've got to pass that on.
Yes.
You do. We all have to. We have to do it. So, if I know sometimes they think, oh, she looks like a normal little Asian woman and she's making passes like that, but I don't know about the gay, lesbian, this. But if someone like you can use my product and say, no, it's really good, it functions, you do it for me. Not just for me to make the sales, but just to know you're passing that on, because this is what I'm bringing, that I'm just saying I've made it a bit easy for you to use.
Absolutely. And your makeup excites people to play with it. Like, even when you move this, it's like a fidget toy.
I am a bit of I am a bit fussy about, that's why it took 3 years to create that. But before that, 25 when I had the Ruby and Millie one, was a push-up one like that.
Is it that long ago?
Yes.
Oh.
So all I've done is copy myself. It's not like I went out there and copied somebody else. I copied myself. It's come out of my brain the first time. It's come out of my brain the second time. So for people who don't know me, who've never heard of Ruby and Millie, I'm going to send you a thing where you can compare the old Ruby and Millie cheek stick and the new one, and you'll see.
I think I've got some of the old. I think I've got a collection of old makeup that I just look at, because I always take inspo from the old stuff. I've got some of your push-up ones, the blushy ones, yes.
So when you're on, aren't you going to make it a better mechanism? You are slicker.
Yes.
Formulation has to be better. It's vegan. It looks shocking in the pod, but when you blend, every day I use it because it works universally. Black, white, man, woman, old, young, whatever. Blend it, you've got the control off.
So then you can also build it, and it's so pretty.
There you go. And you stain it on the lips. All of that, you can do all of that with it.
I love when you do the lip, cheek, and lip, and on the eye.
Exactly. It's just and it just amazing. You can do it really, really quickly. Put a bit of mascara on, or put a bit of powder on where you need it, concealer where you need it, and you're done. You've done a full face. Easy.
So what about the strawberry wonder here? Because this is like a universal red, because red is one of those things where it's either too blue, it's too metallic, it's too dry, it's too orange, it makes your teeth look yellow. This is a universal in all skin tones. So how did you come up with this?
When I was first thinking of Ruby Hammer, I had to think of, that's lovely. I had to think of, I like a bit of red. Ruby. Okay? So when I sat a blank piece of paper, I thought, whatever I do, it's got to be red in packaging and whatever. Then I could only afford, because I'm self-funded still, I don't have huge, I wish I had invested when Miss Charlotte Tilbury and the bigger brands have got there. But I'm a startup and I'm proud of it. It's not a negative, I'm a startup. I'm a self-funded startup, and I'm doing it. So I started with the first thing, and she was saying, well, what do we do then? We've got to do a lip. And I said, yeah, this formula, I want it to feel comforting, almost like a lip balm, but you can stain it up, stain it down. So the red was the first colour we worked on, you know, and you can just literally smear it away to nothing.
I love the flush of it.
Yeah, and then it has to be enough of a blue and not too orangey, but not too bluey. It had to work for old and young.
Yeah.
It had to work for makeup artists on set, because I always think, will my makeup artist friends and acquaintances and will a makeup artist use this? Because if it doesn't, it actually upsets me, because I think no professional can use it. But I also have to know and think we have a consumer. The most products are not bought just by makeup artists, they're bought by the consumer. Will that appeal to her? So yes, so it had to feel comforting, look good, and have that multifunctional thing. But it's got incredible ingredients. It's got meadowthorn seed oil. It's got cocoa, shea butter. It's got all kinds of wonderful ingredients that is very comforting, especially if you're an older woman or you're outside in the UK. Look at our weather. Go out there, you've got to have a bit of comfort.
Yeah, it's blowing a gale here in Brighton.
You've just come out of a festive season where you're having Christmas parties, New Year's parties. You can do things you can wear to the office, but you can ramp it up. I've just tried to do that. So they're all semi-hybrid. You know, they're hybrid. They've got skincare properties, they have impact, and they're controllable. So if you want it to really show, you can. You want to tone it down, you can. That's what you want. That's what we do as artists.
Yeah.
But that's the layperson needs, and we need to give them the product to be able to do that.
Yes. Yes. So like there's been so many instances that you mentioned, like the Fenty, when they brought out with these incredible shades that fit everyone. And I think it's lovely that people have been able to find their identity within makeup. But in some ways it's kind of done the opposite of making people be more creative, because people aren't mixing and matching in the same way. Like I remember when there was no white foundation series, to get this goth foundation called Stargazer. Do you remember that horrible chalky liquidy stuff, and mix it with like a Lancome and try and get like, because I used to paint myself white like a doll. I was a crazy kid. But it's like, I love the idea of teaching people again how to be tactile with makeup, not just to buy the product that's sold to you, but actually use a product that you can use in multiple ways. Do you think that's the next step? Because for me, that's what excites me.
It will be, but that's why I want to show you my, these, my magnetic brushes that come up.
I love that. My niece has got mine.
The reason is, again, people go, what's that for? And I'm like, we can use it. Once you've bought it, you don't have to be a makeup artist. Look, the angle brush, obviously, it's easy to do eyebrows, but you can do liner with it.
Yeah.
You can do a gel.
Or
you can do
a lip.
Or a lip. You can do all of these, click into place. They work for liquid, cream, and powder. So I'm not just saying this is an eyebrow. I just line drawing so that you could find it quickly to know what it was, or for the sales assistant to find it, or for you to find it in a rush, when you're on set or you're doing someone, or for yourself. I'm in a rush, I've got that cab, that Uber's waiting, I've got to just quickly do it. It was for you to find what works for you. If you think that angle brush is better to do a line on it, go for it. You don't need an artist or somebody to tell you you can only use it this way.
Yeah.
Well, is it? So I think that skill has come out, because you can pretty much colour and do that. But the whole thing about makeup is that bit of experimenting, having fun, and find it, like I used to do when I was younger. There wasn't a black lipstick.
No.
So I would a bit of a black eyeliner, but just a little bit of it here and a little bit of it there, and then disperse it out, and then use my bit of pink or bit of lip gloss to make it, and then you'd get that. But we did it by playing, know,
Yes.
like, how did we learn to, if you want a nice wet look, lip gloss would do it. But unfortunately, when you were filming, you realised it was all sticky.
Yes.
Now, from that, you've got formulas that are non-sticky. Like imagine Lancome's Juicy Tubes.
Yes, yes.
Had
I
those because
love those.
they were amazing. But look at the Juicy Tube formula now. You do it; it's not sticky.
No, I love the pots. I like the